What is going on, everybody? Want to shoot over a video here talking about scoring and coaching loops. I'm making this video because I've noticed the past week and a half there's been an uptick, at least just in the DMs I get and the coaching calls. Well, I run like 3 coaching calls now in different areas, but the big one that's been coming up is the lack of coaching. That's why people pay me to coach, because managers, leaders, whoever, please do your job. I wanted to talk about how I do coaching with me and my team and how I used to do it before when I was a rep and a manager, and how I would try to apply this if I was you and maybe you didn't have a great manager or leader. Some of you report to like VPs and directors. If they're, and again, they don't all mean like, they all mean well for the most part, right? Sometimes if someone doesn't have the skill set, they don't have the skill set. Oh well. But from the DMs I get, it seems like a lot of them just don't give a shit to coach and help you guys, which is unfortunate. So let me take you through a process where with me, and I still do this to myself, by the way, today, not just with my team of callers, right? Is when I'm doing my scoring and coaching, let's just say today I made a bunch of calls, right? The first thing I want to do, right, is I want to be able to take all the transcripts that I have, use the webhook or the PI call, push it into Claude or Perplexity or Gemini, whatever tool you like to use, and feed into that model and be able to score it. So I score out of 10, right? Or excuse me, I do out of 5. You can do 10 too. I do 10 for discovery calls, like when I run my sales processes. So you can be able to log, what went well, where do you want to focus on improving. This is something I'm still seeing a lot of reps not doing, which is shocking, right? Even if you had great coaching, right? Even managers, like this is what I was doing when we had Gong AMA, like the Gong Ask Me Anything feature as a manager, because I don't have time to listen to all my reps' calls. And shout out to at Docebo, we had Titan X. So that meant we had so many conversations. I was not about to listen to all that shit. So instead, what I was able to do was I can filter for calls that were graded 6 out of 10 or less, right? Honestly, for some of my reps, 5 out of 10, because they were so good that it didn't make sense for me to coach them. Because by the time you get to 7 out of 10 on a call, there's not that much more you can really do to really move the needle, from my experience, right? So once you feed the context, let's say you have 50 conversations, and the conversation is you got past your opener, you pitched, and then beyond, right? And then the final disposition either came out to not me, not now, I want to take a meeting, I don't want to take a meeting, 7-1, all those different variations, right? Where you got a final outcome after someone heard you talk. You take all of those calls, let's say you have 50, feed it into the system, right? And you also, depending on what you train it on, I have my own methodology that I kind of go off of. It's like a hybrid of everything else that I just use internally, and I grade it based off that, and I have a rubric. So it'll tell me okay, this call was, again, very rarely will my calls be under a 6, right? And that's a bad day. But I've been doing it long enough. We all make mistakes and we all have blind spots. That's why I do this with me, my reps, etc. And the guys that I coach, I tell them to go and do the same thing too. So, because I can listen to all their calls. That's one thing. The other thing too is you can track the metadata, right? That's something that's really helpful. Is job titles, the date, the duration of the call, the dispositions, the outcomes. The other important thing too is it's hard to know what's working if you're not tracking it. That's obviously basic, but also too, are you tracking it based on different job titles, different types of product lines, different personas you call on, et cetera, industry? Because if I'm having an opener work, right, and I kind of laid out to other coaching calls that I gave, but I also mentioned this bunch here. The basic framework that you should use for dispositioning is you have your dial to connect to conversation and or completion, and then your completion to interested or activation is some of us would call it rate, and then your activation to meeting rate. Right now, if you unfortunately are only focused on booking a meeting, right, which should not be what you're mainly focusing on all the time, because there's other things you can get out of a call. You can get referrals, you can get intel, you can get, or actually, but you can also validate data that you have as well, right? You can get research points, which kind of feeds into intel. There's multiple things that you can get out of a call. So when you focus on it that way, you can track okay, if I'm losing people at the beginning of every single call, right? Sounds super basic, guys, but all you got to do is just focus on the opener. Right now, the thing that sucks about AI right now, right, is it literally cannot listen to tonality, cadence, pacing, etc. There's certain tools, if you hook it up with 11 labs and all this stuff, you can do that. I try to play around with it, but it's not there. But even if it does 80% of the work for this, you can figure out okay, this is where I'm going wrong. But you'll be really shocked. There's times that I'm shocked. I'm damn, how did I miss saying this value prop or doing a tie down at the end of the call, making sure they confirm. Sometimes I get lazy. Right, so that's why you have that, and kind of just the cadence, right? You want to have an end of day recap, right? That reviews your score, flag any anomalies before they kind of become patterns, ideally. And then bi-weekly, you want to do a deep dive, That's a big thing, right? So, and I kind of mentioned here, like if your CRM or like wants support, you can actually like build your own dashboard externally, just using AI tools, just kind of like create or recreate a disposition tracking call, um, and be able to like grade it differently. So, just want to make a really quick one here because I've been noticing like an uptick in people trying to get coaching and stuff like that for themselves, but they're not getting it that often. And candidly, I'm a busy guy. Like I don't, you guys know, I've never advertised my coaching and stuff like that. If anything, I'll say just kind of detract you. Like I charge 300 an hour. You obviously get value and stuff, but don't bother me unless you really need it. I just want to put this out. I'm probably going to make a little bit more actually around this. There's another thing I want to talk about, which is going deeper into the dispositions and also the mindset around coaching, or excuse me, not coaching, cold calling. That's again, I'm not a mindset guy, but like I just notice these questions come up a lot. So I'm like, okay, there must be if one person's asking it, someone else is probably thinking it. Is kind of where I'm coming from. So hopefully you got some kind of value out of this. Again, to me, I know this seems like rudimentary. So I'm like, I hope you guys got value. I don't know. Let me know in the comments. But these are things that I'm kind of like thinking through. Again, I still do this myself, right? Obviously, I do it at like a little bit more of a higher level because like my coach I work with, because I have a coach for cold calling still. Not to learn new things because after you've been doing this long enough, you're not going to learn anything extremely new. But it becomes a game of edges, right? Or inches, I should say. You do a little bit of this inflection at the beginning of the cold call, right? That's going to buy you 15 more seconds that you otherwise wouldn't have. At the end of the call, you say this little thing here, you do a pause there, right? All those little things help, right? So you never discount the 1% gains that you can get because 1%, I mean, that can be the difference between you booking a meeting versus not, you having confidence versus not, etc. So I'll end the call here or the recording, but hopefully you guys got value. And if you're interested in more topics like this, I'd love to keep making more because I talk a lot about cold calling and best practices internally and where it's not being recorded. So I would love to keep making more if you guys value out of it. So thanks you for watching. If you made it this far, 7 minutes is not long or 8 minutes, but I always appreciate any second you guys spend watching me. So thank you. Bye.